Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Podium, a podcast where we explore leadership journeys and the moments of Toastmasters. Today, I have the honor of being present with Yonela, who is the conference convener for District 74's conference called Thrivecon, which is happening this year on the 30th of April in Lesotho. Welcome, Yonela, to Be on the Podium. How are you doing today?
Hi, Coffee. I'm good. I feel like I need some coffee now that I got you.
This coffee drinks, guys.
I just had to, man. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for blessing us here today. I'm very, very excited to have this conversation with you. I think for me, just entering this Toastmasters thing, I'm just starting to see that there's certain people that you must build relationships with. And I think that this is one of the reasons I've decided to be part of the podcast.
Now you say.
Yeah. We've got a network and obviously make use of it. And I think for me, going through conference last year made me understand the deeper aspect of Toastmasters. And there's more to it than Misa I. That someone says, hey, listen, I need to come and work on my presentation skills. And there's a deeper element. So I'm very excited for this conversation that we're going to have about Thrivecon. But before we even go into Thrivecon and what Thrivecon is about, I just want to understand who Yonela is. Can you introduce Yonela to the rest of us?
Yeah. Well, good afternoon or morning, whenever you're watching this episode. Yonela is a lover of life, full of energy, energizer body, but also loves education, self-development. And this is how I ended up in Toastmasters, just looking for more things that I could feed my soul with. I love people, I love working with them, probably hence the convenor role. And I just love to keep on evolving and building myself up. And Toastmasters has been one of those quite important pieces of those building blocks for me.
Okay, that's great. So let's go one step. Yonela, from a professional perspective, is a?
I'm in marketing. I don't
Okay.
like titles, so
Okay.
I'll just tell people I'm in the marketing field. Love it. I'm building brands and building people's careers as well because I do career coaching on the side. And so, yeah, like I said, linking back to the love for people, but also love for brands and just seeing things come together and, become bigger than they were before. So, yeah.
Okay, that's great. Uh, why Toastmasters? How did you actually get into Toastmasters?
I'll never forget 2018 at work. I got an opportunity to go and work in Switzerland for 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, big opportunity it was. And one of the things I picked up because I love to reflect about what's happening in my own life, and I realized I could have shown up better. I could have spoke up better in meetings and represented the South African, the girl from Umtata, and the rest of the girls coming behind me in those big platforms. But I felt like I could have done better. And so when I came back to South Africa, I thought to myself, what could be that thing that could push me to a better, or rather a space where I can better articulate myself, where I could be more confident when I make my points, etc. And Google always, and Toastmasters came up. And in fact, I'd known about Toastmasters in varsity already, but at that time I thought, well, I need to focus on studies and I don't want to do other things. So now Toastmasters is coming back, and I'm like, actually, this is what I need. And so I went to the first Toastmasters meeting in Centurion at CCTM, and I remember seeing all these people clapping and laughing so much. Like, what do these people eat here? Why are they so happy? And then fast forward probably 2 months later, I was a member, and then that's how the journey started. And gosh, I don't want to get started with how much I benefited with everything we're trying to sell Toastmasters here, but about 6 years later, I mean, I'm like, oh my God, the 1,100 that I paid to join is nothing compared to what I got. Yeah.
Okay. And it seems as if you've been able to. You came from a speaking perspective, and now you're in a leadership role. I'm first and foremost, I need to understand: have you competed in contests before?
I have.
And how far did you get from a contest perspective?
I have. I want to tell a funny story. I have competed and I went to division level. And that's where I bombed out. I had a beautiful speech, and the speech was titled The Science That Truly Matters. And at that point, everybody was laughing at the title. And I'm thinking, what's wrong? It's the science that really matters. And the speech was so good, it took me to division. I got to division. I decided I wanted to change the speech. Oh! How dare? And then I was out of the competition.
Okay.
Anyway, later I went to find out what that whole size thing speaks to, and I was like, good God. But it probably
Oh, the
helped.
interpretation of that.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually, I would like to hear more of that speech, and I wish that a lot of these speeches are more recorded and we have that, but we'll come to that. So, from a contest perspective, you obviously contests, but also from a leadership perspective. Um, and for me, what I'm realizing is it's not just about the speaking, there's a leadership component.
Yeah.
And for me, going to conference opened my eyes.
Mm.
I went there to compete, right? And
Mm.
like, fortunately, District 129 was in South Africa and District 74 was both in South Africa. So I attended both.
Yeah.
And as I got in, I started to realize there's actually more to it that we don't know. And just reflecting on your experience, I just want to have a high level understanding of how you've navigated your way into becoming a conference convener and what is a conference convener.
Yeah. So again, back to 2019. This is when now I joined. About 6 months in, our vice president of public relations left, and so now EXCO was one person down, and they asked who's willing to come and fill the space for the remainder of the period. And I've got a background in marketing. I love working with people, and I'm like, actually, let me just go for it. And that's when the leadership aspect started, and I got exposed to the different leadership roles and what one can actually do and unlock in their own career by being a leader in Toastmasters. And so from that VPPR role that I finished off for somebody else, then
VPPR stands for
Vice President of Public Relations.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Then the next year, I put up my hand to be president. Then from there, I was area director. Then from there was district PR, etc. Okay. So I realized that as much as I come for communication skills, there was so much more I could gain from the leadership aspect. Because remember, I'm trying to build a career, and Toastmasters in my world was being used as a tool to build that career. And so now I'm realizing if I can lead here, then I can lead at work. Okay. I can communicate here, I can communicate at work. And that's how really I thought to myself, well, this is a space which is safer than work in many ways, which could help me to get there. And yeah, I just took it on. And so the conference convener role came as well from a perspective of saying, I've seen conference done. I'd love to be part of it, and I'd love to be part of defining what is going to be a moment to remember for most people in the district. And so, yeah, I just fell in love with the whole leadership aspect within this organization.
Okay. Seems like a very inspiring journey. And I'm going through that similar path. I was at the point where I don't want to do, even from a work perspective, I'm like, leadership isn't what I want. But when I found the Toastmasters aspect of it, it opened my eyes because it also leads to a passion aspect of things. And I must be honest, one of the things that I'm struggling from a work perspective is communicating the value of Toastmasters for them to understand the value. And maybe you'll educate us and educate me at a later stage. But let's get into Thrivecon conference, right? What is this conference, Thrivecon, actually about?
Yeah. So after I put up my hand to say I'm going to take on the leadership for conference this year, one of the things I had to think about was what are we going to call it? We called it RockCon the year before. We've called it many different names, MayCon because it happened in May. And I thought I wanted a meaning, something that would be the heart of what we want to see people do. And having led a couple of times in Toastmasters, I realized that some people endure the journey and they don't thrive through it because they find themselves either not ready to commit or not able to be fully immersed in the experience such that they're able to thrive through it. And I thought to myself, the vision I want for everybody in our district and those who end up coming to conferences to thrive. Thrive in what you do, thrive in leadership, thrive at work. And so let's call it Thrivecon. And that's how the name was birthed. And then, of course, we had to go through the practical steps of deciding where, how, what dates, how much, etc. But at the heart of it is really the people of the district for them to thrive and for them to be able to be part of this journey that is actually more beautiful than most people can think.
Okay, no, I love the name Thrivecon. So I'm just seeing the pattern is RonCon, MayCon. There's always con from the conference perspective, and then we always put whatever theme that we want specifically. Okay, that's interesting. Like the thinking about it, man. Let's go location, Lesotho. Why Lesotho?
Most of our conferences have always been done in South Africa or held in South Africa. There was one in Zimbabwe. This is obviously before our district was split into two like District 129 and District 74. So I thought to myself, now that we've broken out and now we are 4 countries within District 74, Lesotho, Botswana, Namibia, and South Africa,
Okay.
surely we want to spread the love to other
Okay.
regions. And while we were trying to decide, we put out a survey to the members of the district and we asked them to nominate a country that they wanted the conference to be held
Okay.
at. Funny enough, at the same time, I traveled to Lesotho for an open house that we wanted to do. And I fell in love with the people,
Okay.
the culture. Oh my God, I thought to myself, we've got such a gem in this country, but nobody talks about it.
Okay.
And so in my heart, I was like, I'd love the people to vote for Lesotho. Don't think I rigged the vote. I did not. I
You
did
did.
not. People voted and eventually came back. People wanted Lesotho. I'd seen the special elements in Lesotho.
Okay.
And I was like, let's go. That's it. Because we've done South Africa many times. And I thought, let's give other countries within the district that little bit of airtime and showcase of what it's got. And whoa, what a great decision, shall I say myself.
I'm excited and obviously spreading the love. And for me, one of the things that I like from a Toastmasters perspective is obviously the diversity.
Yeah.
And the opportunity to go see another country. So for me, the way I'm also seeing from a conference perspective is I also want to travel.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to also travel, let me also make it educational to a certain degree, and then there needs to be a bit more value. I've always wanted to go to Lesotho, and I've never had the opportunity. So I'm excited for this and taking our country and bringing countries together in a different region. So I think that's a very great idea from a diversity perspective, and we know that South Africa seems to have a bit more numbers from a membership perspective, but let's expand and grow in terms of that. Now we talk about location. What is the costing? How many days is the conference and how it's structured?
Yeah. So one of the things again that we had to consider as a team, so maybe backtrack. Now I've decided, okay, I'm going to be conference convener. This is going to be the name for the conference, design the logo, and I had to put together a team that would help us to land and make it happen. And as we sat down as a team at this point now, we're trying to decide how much would you be willing to pay to go to conference, which is accessible, which would motivate you to go. And that was a big question back and forth. And we looked at a lot of practicals and maybe a few soft considerations. And eventually we said, let's net off on an early bird price of 5,500 rands.
Okay.
And that was about 1,500 discount from what the normal price would be. And I remember Cabinet saying, well, girl, where are we going to get the difference? Because you're obviously going to end up having a shortfall if everybody pays that discounted price. And the challenge was then on us to say, we're going to go find sponsors. We're going to find people that could help us land this. And why was that critical? Because if you are trying to get people to come together, you want people to experience conference, then accessibility was more than a motivator for us. And so that was one of the things we did. And of course, then we went on to put together some sponsorship packages for companies to sponsor. I know, yeah, we can still take more sponsors. Is interested because that was part of the vision. And so then we decided on the price. Okay, Lesotho. Then we took a trip down there to go now look at venues to see where we're going to hold this conference, because first is the consideration around just giving people the actual experience. And like you say, some of the people are traveling to Lesotho for the first time and maybe they've always wanted to travel there. So how do you make it quite an exceptional experience? And we found a venue. It's called the Tababusio, with a very significant historical resemblance to the people of Lesotho, but also quite important for the rest of the world. And so we said, okay, we will have it 30th of April 2026, Lesotho at Tababusio, which is a very important part of the Lesotho culture, and allow people to pay just 5,500 rands, inclusive of their 3-night accommodation. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Inclusive of their 3-night accommodation, food, everything they included. So yeah, it's been exciting to see the numbers rise every day, people paying. So it's been exciting, really.
No, this is actually so you're okay. So you've got quite a number of sponsors at this point.
We actually have one. If I'm transparent, we have one sponsor that came through. We want more, but because and maybe just to circle back on the leadership aspect and some of the skills we got to practice the negotiation skills so well. So part of the cost driver was our ability to negotiate with the venues to say, hey man, let's drop that price. Let's drop that price. So that has been really helpful. But yeah, for sure, more sponsors, man, because I have a vision of giving people goodie bags, getting people to experience Lesotho all without any cost from their side. But of course, those things are a bit tricky without sponsorships, but we're working quite hard to get more people to come on board so that each and every person who wants to attend conference will have a time of their lives.
No, this is actually very amazing. I think you've done an incredible job. There's one conference that I'm also interested in going to, but the price is like triple. And as you're mentioning this, I'm like, you know what? This seems like a great deal. So I must say,
it mustn't come for me.
no, I must say this is amazing in terms of how you guys have structured it. So you're saying there's an early bird special?
Yes.
Until?
The early bird special until the end of January. I know everyone's going through January, but yeah, let's try and prioritize. If anybody took out, or rather took up the early bird special for the 5,500 and paid in installments, please finish the installment by the end of the month. Otherwise, the price goes up to 6,750. And maybe just to add as well, part of the strategy we put in place was to plan ahead and announce quite early and allow people to pay in installments. And I think that helped a lot because people paid deposits and they've been paying since I think it was maybe August that we started getting people to pay. So it gave people also that opportunity to pay in installments if they're not able to pay right away. And that also has helped us quite a lot in terms of getting the numbers ahead of time. So yeah, still a lot to do for sure. And I don't think we've arrived, but I think we are definitely on the right track and we definitely want to see more and more of our members join as well.
Okay. I must say, I must commend you for the early aspect from a marketing perspective. There's a principle that I learned in varsity, right? So many years when I was varsity, me, I'm a liker of things, eh?
Okay.
I'm gonna go out, but I like organizing things for some strange reason. So I organized a pageant, right, in varsity with 3 institutions. Had no money at all, looking for sponsors. And then I just had saying, coming soon, coming soon, coming soon, coming soon. So it actually really builds a hype and it gets people engaged. And I realized that some people say don't tell people what you're about to do it first. But sometimes I also realize that anticipation, draws. And I think that you've done, from what I've seen, you've done very well. From the WhatsApp groups, the marketing that I've seen, the people are getting in. So I think we just need to drive a little bit more and make the experience great.
Definitely.
How many people are we expecting at this conference?
We're going to go up to 150. We're currently sitting on 113. So numbers are closing in quite quick. In the 113, we have not included the contestants who will have to be there as part of the contest, which is part of the program. Some of the cabinet members are yet to be included in that number. So I think if anybody is interested to go, we need that deposit. We need that 5.5 as in yesterday.
So it might be sold out. But I think from what you're saying,
it will probably be sold out. 150
people. Guys, if you haven't got your tickets, please. and for me, I'm also a last minute person where I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I might just pay close to the time and make the decision, but we might miss it out. And I remember last year when there was the induction that was sold out from a District 74 perspective. So there's a lot of engagement and people are keen and interested and obviously to network and all that. You obviously mentioned contest, which is one of the drawing cards from a conference perspective. How does contest work within the conference?
Yeah, so contest is definitely a very important part of the conference because this is where now we would host basically the regional competition. Yes, it's the regionals that would take place at conference. Of course, from that stage, it will now go to the videos that have to go to the global competition as well, which is really high up. And of course, we always want our district to be represented and so on. So it's quite fun. It adds the flavor, but also it showcases what Toastmasters can do because most of the contestants there, like you say, you also went to compete. Probably prior to Toastmasters, you may not have ever had the opportunity to compete and showcase your skills. And all of a sudden, you found yourself at higher levels and being able to compete with other Toastmasters around that district. So it is a very big part of showcasing what Toastmasters can do, really just showing off the skills and also being part of making history and hopefully getting people to go through to the global levels and ultimately win the contest. So
I must say, from an Africa perspective, in the past few years, we've been representing. We have an international president based in South Africa. And we've had a few Africans that have won, which is great. So for me, the draw card initially was contest, and that's something I'm passionate about. I also just want to understand from a contestant perspective, they would come in later. So is there also a cost implication for them if they come to the conference and they pay slightly later than normal?
Yeah, so that one we are working with the chief judge who is obviously going to put together all the people that need to
Okay.
attend, and we will have to make some concessions there, to be honest, because
Okay.
those people will have to attend either way. So we'll have to see what we can do. That's why I need sponsors. It's sad. Because then I could answer this and be like, no, don't worry, I'm going to pay for them,
Okay.
right? But we're not in that position yet. But I think for anybody who wants to compete. Don't stress about how you're going to get to Lesotho. We will have to pray, fast, whatever we have to do to get you there. But yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one. And I think it's the first time we are having conference outside of the country. So we don't know who's going to win, where they base, they're based in Lesotho and so on. So we will have to figure that out. But I think I'd encourage anyone who wants to showcase their skills to definitely go in and enter. Yeah.
Okay. So we're talking about the contest, which is one of the key drawing aspects of this. It's from the 30th of April until the 3rd of May. So within those days, other than contest, what would we be exposed to?
Yeah. One of the things about conferences which I felt like wanted to do differently was allowing people sometimes to have fun as well.
Okay.
So not make it too much content, too much education, but allow people to connect. Because why are we coming together? We are in 4 different countries. We hardly see each other. Some of us, I meet people all the time and they say, "Why are you so short?" Like, what do you mean? I've always been short. Yeah, because on video you look tall. I don't know how that works, but the truth of the matter is we hardly get opportunity to see each other. So part of the program is going to be a lot of extramural activities. We're talking things like conversations around the bonfire for one of the days, and the other days we will go up the mountain. I hope everybody is going to be fit. But if you cannot do that, there's horse riding. There's also a beautiful museum with a lot of history of Lesotho within the same venue that we'll be at. So there will be a lot of activities that people could partake in, but the idea is to have a good balance between fun and education.
Okay. So I guess you heard it all, eh? It's going to be a very dynamic experience where you're going to be able to see highly skilled speakers that have learned the art of speaking and competing.
Yeah.
At the same time, there's an educational aspect where you're obviously there from a leadership, enrichment, communication perspective, but it's all just not work, but there's a bit of play, and you're going to discover another country and make connections and friends. The reality is the world that we live in, relationships are fundamentally key. And we've got to obviously expand our network in terms of that. But from what I'm hearing, you seem to have done a very good job, and I'm so sitting here so proud of you. I'm so blessed that I've gotten to know you and seeing the things that you are doing within the Toastmaster space. And it's just amplifying the fact that there is more to Toastmasters than come there and communicate because you want to be able to learn to speak or to give a presentation at work, or even some people who come to Toastmasters because they want to give a speech at their brother or sister's wedding. So that's sometimes a drawback, but once you get into it, you start to realize there's so many levels that unfold. And I must be honest, I feel as if that's something that we need to be able to sell a little bit more, that people know what the end-to-end funnel aspect of it.
Absolutely. One of our good leaders at Central Centurion, Jamina Mayema, usually says Toastmasters is a buffet. You have all sorts of meats, desserts, everything that you can think of when we talk food. It's all available, but you decide where to go. Are you going to be just focused on the desserts? Are you going to go to the mains? Are you going to go to the salads? And so I think a lot of people don't discover enough because maybe they're thinking, I'm just here for the meat and not necessarily here for the rest. But the moment we open our eyes and explore from a leadership perspective, from a communication, I mean, I became a professional MC from Toastmasters.
Are you serious?
I get booked to go MC events from Toastmasters. So what do you mean? This is a world of opportunities. But look, opportunities will not nobody injects it on you, right?
Mhm.
And as somebody who sees a lot of people wanting to come into Toastmasters speaking to me, I already know that sometimes people come, but they're not ready to be
Okay.
part of it. And no, there's no magical pill that we give people here, but putting yourself out there, trying different things, you discover a lot more about yourself. I was always comfortable with speaking before Toastmasters, but I needed to learn a little bit more. The emceeing part, it was never on my radar, never. And from Toastmaster of the Day to big stages to checks, hello.
Okay. Hey, you know, Madam Conference Convener, I feel as if we're going to have another discussion so we can unpack who you are and what you've done, because it seems like there's an element of diversity from a work perspective, the leadership perspective, and the MCing. And I feel that there are some people that also want to learn that aspect, but
Yeah.
we're not here to speak about those elements. Conference helps you. When you come to conference, you're able to meet people like this who will be able to open your mind to
Yeah.
endless opportunities within a Toastmasters aspect or from a self-development aspect. Um, is there anything in closing that you would like to highlight before we should close?
Yeah, look, like I said, Toastmasters is a world of opportunities. Conference is one of those, like you say, connecting with people,
Okay.
meeting people for the first time, making friends, learning together in one space, and just really getting your mind into a space of self development. I always tell people Toastmasters is probably one of those places that you'll find almost everyone is cheering for you.
Okay,
Almost
yes.
everyone wants you to
Yeah.
succeed. And so when you are at conference and spending time with people who want you to succeed, you're making more of the right friends, if there's
Okay.
such, because now these are people who want to see you win. So I want everybody to come to conference. 5,500 as the early bird price before the end of January 2026 is all that you need to pay. Otherwise, it goes to 6,750 rands if you pay anything anytime rather from February onwards. So I encourage everybody, go find the money. The money is always there. Go find it and then pay and come to conference and tell your friends to tell their friends. And of course, the seats are almost out. So as soon as you decide you want to come, please take on that decision. I know there's going to be another episode talk about who to contact, but you can also contact me if you are interested to actually sign up. But yeah, we're looking forward to it and we are pushing because excellence is the standard and nothing else.
Okay. How do we get hold of you or the tickets?
Tickets, you could go to the Toastmasters website, which we'll put on the link on the episode, and people can just click on there, or the WhatsApp groups that we have, and my number as well can also be put on the post for the for this when we put it out. But yeah, people can just reach me, or even social media. Yonela Motloungo, you can search me up there and message if you don't have the WhatsApp group access or access to the website, and we'll be able to communicate with you. We've got different team members within the team that are handling different parts, but for the purposes of simplicity, people can just speak to me and I'll direct their queries.
Okay.
Yeah, so see you in Thrivecon.
See you in Thrivecon. Now, my last question to you before we close is, there's one person I love the most, Triminoa, right?
Yeah.
And he's probably gotten to a point where he's like, what next? Now, I'm going to put the question to you is, now you've gone through this journey, conference convener, at some point after this conference is going to end.
Yeah.
What next for you?
I'm not sure if I'm honest, but it has got to do with self development. It has got to do with people. It has got to do with monetizing the skills that I have. And I will leave it there. Maybe I'll have another episode when I launch some of the stuff I'm working on. But definitely people, self development, just living. I think often we want to just exist and not live and count days until we're out of this world. And I think that would have been the biggest failure in life for me to just exist. And so I'm all about finding me, finding new avenues, and so on. And so there's a lot of things that have been birthed from the journey in Toastmasters, which may not necessarily be in Toastmasters, but still quite in the direction of self development, just allowing myself and others to live and shine through. So watch this space.
If the red light is hit, but you're not saying cabinets. I'm just asking.
Maybe. I think I'm in cabinet actually right now because I work with.
It's not the same. It's not the same. Huh? I'm just saying,
And there's voting at conference as well.
For cabinet, yes.
For cabinet. So I might just abandon my role and be putting up my hand. Who knows, man?
Okay. No, I hear you, Yonela. Thank you very much for making the time to chat to us and putting this together. As I said earlier, I'm obviously very inspired with the person you are and what
Thank
you're
you.
doing specifically. And I understand that you will be able to inspire other people, or you are inspiring other people. Yeah, I have a theme: inspired, and inspirational, and that's through our action. So
Gotcha. Love
we
that.
find a way to inspire, and then other people become inspired through our actions.
Love that. Thank
Cool.
you. Thank you for having me, Coffee. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Cheers.